60 or 55, one is just transitioning from regular employment to self-employment. When someone is transitioning from that regular employment down to the village where most likely where friends are, and is has to join another work so that he can earn a living, what structure would be comfortable for such kind of a person, given a case where by retirement one most likely has reached the apex of all the structures in the regular employment? What level?
What options are there?
Within employment will be most suitable for such kind of a gentleman?
Let me call them options.
Yes.
Let me say 4 things. Number 1, you should not be thinking about it when you are 60. Your age, 40s is when you tell myself, when I retire, this is the way I want to use my time. Are we together? Now, what that is must be within your calling. Because if you don't do something within your calling, it may give you money, but it will frustrate you every night. So, I've written a book called Discovering Your Life's Purpose. My books are available in Amazon, so you can also get it from bookshops, like Scripture Union Bookshop. And you can pick the book so that the thing that helps me is that idea that I'm clear in my mind why God created me and how to use my life. Yeah. And that means what I was doing in my 20s, 30s, 40s, what I'm doing now at 70 is exactly something that adds to my calling. In fact, I keep telling people they should write their 80th birthday speech. What do you hear? What impact would you have made by the age of 80? Now, once we are clear about that, because that's the first thing I want you to understand. Don't do a job because others are doing. Could kill you. Do something that is helping fulfill your calling. For example, if you feel like you are created to help poor people, then there must be something you are doing, even in retirement, to help the less fortunate. Because the moment you do it, you sleep every night like a child. While somebody else who forces himself into it will feel he's getting poorer and poorer. So it depends on what is your calling. That's very important. Number 2, please, whatever it is you are doing has to be something that can be done at your physical strength. Yeah. So don't go, you have not been growing coffee. Then you go to buy a farm at 60 to grow coffee. Your mind and learning are not good friends. So many people use their retirement money and it's lost for good. So what it is you do in retirement, you need to be starting to learn it now. So it's very, very important that you are not starting to say, oh, what did I do in retirement? You should have thought about it, and it's something you know, but you could not do it because of your job. But you started preparing for it. And every time you are on leave, that's what you are actually working on. And that's very, very important. Very, very important that you understand that. Thirdly and importantly, whatever it is you do must not take you away from your friends. So you must find that the job and the friends are in one location. I told you the job, the friends, and the hospitals. Am I communicating? They need to be somewhere. So don't start thinking that you must go to live in the village. If you don't spend every leave in the village. Because the people, I go to the village, and the old men I'm seeing around were not born when I left. Because I did my KP in 1967, and that's when I knew everybody. Now the children who are born in 67 are now 60 years less, 5. Can you see, I don't even know them. And it's not that I have forgotten them, I never heard of them. Now if I go to retire there, and I have not invested getting to know them, and there are the people available because my mates have died, can you see I'm calling myself to trouble? So that's why a long time before, you need to know this way I will retire. So it means to maintain the friendship and what you are doing at another. Finally, the thing you do, I suggest, should be a continuation of what you have been doing. Don't go into something that is totally new. It should be a continuation. So if for example, you are involved in training, you can continue training. Are we together? Yeah, so it's important as long as it fits the parameters I've given you. So please learn to prepare early and to not to get into a new life, but a continuation of your life, but with less stresses. Am I clear?
Anybody else? Yes. The gentleman in blue. Simama tu tukusikie vizuri.
Thank you for the great eye-opening. I have a question. If you get to a certain age, and maybe you want to restart your life.
If you want?
If you get to a certain age, like say about 40s, there's a risk factor, you say, high risk, high return.
Yes.
In terms of investment. And maybe you want to start things anew. What would be your advice? Because now you're facing two quagmires. Planning for retirement, as well as starting a new lifestyle.
You know, if you are in your 40s, it's okay. You are a very young man. You can take risks. Because you are likely to be, if you go by rules of averages, you will still work another 20, 30 years. So you can put your money in a very high risk, then lose it, they still tend to make more. If you are 60 or nearing 60, think twice. There is no time to recover. It could actually kill you. Because all your efforts were on that one, then you lose it. And you could very easily see yourself get depressed and even die. So we are not suggesting that high risk is bad. As long as the high risk is not an issue that is illegal, that is, you know, the pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
That's high risk, but foolish risk.
Yeah.
I'm not communicating. Because you know, pyramid by structure must fail. Because it's trying to, you're not investing. So every time you put your money somewhere, someone is promising you interest, you must ask, how are you going to make that money? If he can't explain, don't put your money there. He's a con man. So it's important to say high risk has to be high risk that's understandable. For example, if somebody comes and promises you 30% interest, you need to ask yourself, what will he do that can give him 40%? So it needs to be high risk, but calculated risk. Now if that is agreed, my second point is you should never put all your eggs in one basket. So invest deliberately, because what happens is, once it's high risk, you want to put everything there. So when you collapse, the whole of you. Now at least let the leg be there, your heart is somewhere else. So invest such that there are some of your investments are not high risk, but others are high risk, as long as you are in your younger years. Thirdly and importantly, please have a pension, because pension is risk-free. In fact, the work of a regulatory authority is to send people that are called actuaries. An actuary is a man who is able to look at that finance thing and can prove, given the data, they are mathematicians, that this money available can cover these people. And if the scheme ends up where it can't pay, they may even close the scheme. So you are covered if you have a pension scheme. RBA, the Retirement Benefit Authority, will also be on that case. So I think it's important to go at high risk, but also have reasonable risk. Have I answered your question? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. My question, thanks so much for that very insightful talk. My question is on the last one, although I also had probably in every of those aspects. But let me ask the last one. Planning how to add value to others and to honor God. And this is happening when your own value is going down. How do you maintain your value? Because either you've been senior at work and now you have literally no value.
Yeah.
How do you maintain that? Your own value and creating value of others.
I like the honesty of your question. Your own value is going down. Here I am telling you. Now let me tell you. The way God created us, our happiest moment is to see people who do well.
Yeah.
This guy, spending time here, seeing you improve, make him sleep like a baby in the evening. And you are paying him nothing. But that's what we call ministry. Seeking to add value to others, even if it's adding you nothing. That's what moves my life. I do consultancy work, but I go to many places. So there are people, I'll do something and charge them. Many people, I charge nothing. And yet, the ones that pay me, I don't feel as grateful as the ones that don't pay me. Obviously, you don't start it in retirement. Start it now. Always ask yourself, in the time you have available, what are you doing that's adding value on others? Now, once you are used to it, even when your value is going down, it's only the amount of adding value that will go down. But you will still be adding values. You may be in a hospital bed, and you think that guy, nobody visits him. And it can be, every time your relatives come to visit, say, please also bring something for my neighbor. And when you see him appreciate, it gives you an extra strength to come out of the hospital bed.
Yeah.
So you need to have a commitment. Your life is not about yourself. I've always said, have you ever heard of a fruit tree that eats only fruit?
Yeah.
The tree has bigger grown fruit, but somebody else must eat them. Just around December, you see around the moon, they have something, fruit they call plums, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you not plant them, they all fall down and rot.
Yeah.
Well, a plum tree never eats
It's on
plums. So you need to understand the way God created us. Your happiest moment is to use your life, not for your benefit, but the benefit of others. And although you still must make money, even the making of money, only make money in an area that adds value on others, not where you are conning them. The moment you con people, you will be rich on your way to depression. When you realize, I have made my money, look at the damage it has done, you can't enjoy your money. You will still have it, but you will not enjoy it. So the first thing I want you to understand is, at no time can you add no value. You cannot add less value. Even in sickness, I've given you the last example. While you yourself are dying, somebody else is dying, and you still are thinking about how to make his death soft. And yet you are not sure about your own death, when it will happen. So it's something I would really want to encourage you. Many of the reasons why people are not enjoying their life is because their subject is themselves. They live for results. The more selfish you are, the more likely it is you will never enjoy your life. And the last question.
Yes. Thank you. It's my first day. I was invited by Brian.
So I should not feel alone. We are two of us.
So the first thing is, because we were told just to go to the question is to appreciate what you're doing, how you're doing it and the experience. Really, really appreciate it. Psalm 90 verse 12 says, teach us to number our days, that we may apply ourselves to wisdom. There's a difference between numbering and counting. If we are three of us, number means you have number 1, number 2, number 3. God has numbered our hairs, so He's telling us, number your days, 40, 50, 60, then you may apply ourselves to wisdom. So from a comment perspective, thank you so much. My question is on succession planning. I've had the privilege of retiring twice. God has been faithful. I'm in such an WhatsApp group where people really love contributing when people die. And some of them are even in insurance. That African thing about death is a taboo. People don't like talking about death. I'd just like to ask a question about succession planning and writing a will or living for the next generation. Because I've seen even very highly educated people avoid the talk about death.
Yeah, I talked about unclaimed financial assets. That is a sign of lack of succession.
And they have billions.
Because if the succession plan was clear, there will be a document telling you my money in Trade Bank will go to karaoke, the one in Equity will go to Anjiro, the other one, you'll be clear everything.
Yeah.
And you know, I had heard the other day that they have now reached 40-something billions.
Yes.
Billions.
And this year they have even given a notice for the surrender before end of the year. So it's actually going to be higher.
Now, so you need to understand that clearly succession planning is not optional. Everybody needs to write the will, especially now that I have told you, thinking about death will not make you die. So it's important that you understand what are the advantages of that. Number one, you can't write a succession plan without imagining your own death.
Yeah, true.
Because I might die. Now, if that idea of sorting yourself out, that you are not eternal, you could die, helps you to be ready for death. So the succession plan, the will, have all to do with that preparation. Number two, when you imagine that people are going to fight over your money, it's not a very comfortable thing in old age. So when you are clear how you need your money to be done, how your business will run, it gives you a lot of peace to understand that you are not one of these Karumes and others. Although Karume had done a very beautiful job starting a foundation, but it seems to still have backfired. But it's important to understand when you do it, it allows you in old age to enjoy that is not going to confusion. Thirdly, writing a will is not final. You are allowed to revise it. So don't feel, how can I write it too early? No. Write it now, and you can revise it next year. You can even revise it every year. And according to the law, only the very latest one works. All the others are ignored. So it's important to, of course, you also need to learn how to write. You don't just write on a pencil, and then somebody comes and says, this is the will. How do you prove? There must be a witness. Anyway, that's not my subject just now. But that's a very important question. If you want to hold gracefully, sort out the issues of life after life. How will things be after? You know, sometimes you write no will, then your children leave their mother out. Have you seen what women who suffer?
Yes.
Because the son, and they are talking about not stepsons, real sons, just to get the mother out. As a husband, surely, write a will so that it's very clear. As long as your wife is alive, this will be her powers. Thank you very much. Please allow me to run to the next meeting. May the Lord bless you.
And as we always do, when somebody says they have a book that will assist, how many people do we have on the list? How many? We need 18 copies.